This is crazy. We just learned that ICE has arrested a member of Karoline Leavitt's family, and she might be deported to Brazil.
Child, I don't know if y'all heard this shit, but Karoline Leavitt's relative has been picked up by ICE. Yes, sweetheart, ICE.
We have some major news this morning. Karoline Leavitt's family member has been detained by ICE. The White House press secretary will now feel the impacts of Donald Trump's immigration efforts.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
So ICE arrested one of Karoline Leavitt's own family members. Look, in these dark times, I'll take a little bit of poetic justice where I can get it. When I first heard the news, I thought it was her husband that got arrested. There's like a 40-year age gap between them, so I just assumed they thought he was trafficking her.
Breaking news, ICE has detained a member of Karoline Leavitt's family. The loyal Trump press secretary that has been all in for ICE detainment and kidnapping people on the street now has it hit home. Her nephew's mother, Bruna Ferreira from Brazil, was taken by ICE.
The mother of Karoline Leavitt's nephew is being held by ICE right now in a detention center, and she's at risk of being deported to Brazil. So now I guess Karoline is feeling the pain of what it's like for other people in the country to have their family members detained illegally and deported.
Karoline Leavitt has been defending Trump's deportation machine from the White House podium for months. Tough on illegals, securing the border, no mercy. Well, ICE just arrested her nephew's mother, and now she's got nothing to say. Let me tell you why that matters. Bruna Ferreira, who has an 11-year-old son with Leavitt's brother, is now sitting in a Louisiana detention facility facing deportation to Brazil. And suddenly, this isn't about securing the border or removing criminal aliens. This is about a real kid who hasn't spoken to his mom in weeks. Now pay attention, because this is important. DHS is using the same exact playbook on Karoline's family that they use on every other immigrant family in America. They're calling Bruna a criminal illegal alien with a battery arrest. Her attorney's response: show us the proof. There's no charges out there. She has no criminal record whatsoever. They can't produce it because it doesn't exist. They say her visa expired in 1999. Her attorney says she came here legally as a child under DACA and is literally in the process of getting her green card right now. Following the legal process, doing everything right. This is what they do. They slap a scary label on people, criminal alien, throw out unverifiable charges, ignore the actual facts, and then ship people off to detention centers thousands of miles from their families. And when you're Karoline Leavitt, standing at that podium every day cheerleading this machine, you eat it up, you defend it, you call it justice. Until it's your nephew asking where his mom is, until it's your family getting the same lies, the same manufactured justifications, the same brutal system you spent months telling America was keeping us safe. And what does Karoline have to say now that it's her family? No comment. No comment, because suddenly she gets it. This isn't about law and order. This is about using whatever lie is necessary to hit deportation quotas. And now her family is just another number. Welcome to the machine you built, Karoline. These are the same lies you defended, the same system you celebrated. The only difference? Now you know their names.
All right, guys, buckle up, because this is one of those stories that actually makes you blink twice and go like, wait a minute, did that actually happen? There is no way that happened. We all know how politicians like talking about immigrations, ICE raids, mass deportations, law enforcement and order, all that big talk on TV. Now imagine backing some of the harshest immigration crackdown policies as a politician, only for ICE to actually come and arrest one of your family members. How would you actually like that? Now, that just happened to Karoline Leavitt. The White House press secretary has been one of the most vocal defenders of Trump's immigration crackdown and agenda. Now, the same agendas of actually pushing nationwide ICE raids and mass deportations, and now it's actually affecting her because ICE just detained a member of her own extended families. Yeah, her sister-in-law, her brother's baby mama, because she was actually in the country illegally since 1999. Can you believe that? The press actually inquired about that. She hit them with a very quick no comment. And trust me, she has no comment because she's getting instant karma, instant regret, because karma is a B, man. This is what happens when the harsh policies that you support suddenly land at your doorstep. Well, you F around, you find out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit a like button. Don't forget to let me your opinions down below in the comment section. Let's take a look. I'll be back with more commentary.
This is crazy. We just learned that ICE has arrested a member of Karoline Leavitt's family and she might be deported to Brazil. Trump's awful immigration policy is now impacting a member of his team personally. Her 11-year-old nephew's mother, Bruna Ferreira, is now in custody at an ICE facility in Louisiana facing deportation to Brazil. Ferreira is the former fiance of Michael Leavitt, the press secretary's New Hampshire-based brother. They had a son whom they raised together before they split. A source familiar with the matter said the individual is the mother of Karoline's nephew. They have not spoken in many years. The child has lived full-time in New Hampshire with his father since he was born. He has never resided with his mother, which is not true because a 2014 article in the family showed that the couple was living together with their son. The family was also photographed together. Then Trump's administration tried to claim that Ferreira had a previous arrest for battery, but WBUR could not find any details of battery charges against Ferreira in Massachusetts, and they have not responded to requests for comment. A GoFundMe has been set up for her by her sister. It's now raised $14,000 of its $30,000 target, but I'm sure with all of this coverage, it will surpass that. I don't know how you can be Karoline Leavitt and defend the mother of your brother's son getting deported, but I'm sure that she will defend it.
KK Karoline is getting a taste of ICE herself, and I don't think her family is going to like it very much. Her brother, Michael Leavitt, had a son with Bruna, who is a DACA recipient. This woman was just arrested by ICE in Massachusetts and is currently being held in Louisiana. She's in the midst of removal proceedings. Back in July, DACA recipients were urged by the Department of Homeland Security to self-deport in spite of the fact that they are dreamers, specifically because they have been here since they were children, meaning they did not come on their own voluntarily. They were brought here by their parents. And in spite of having their entire lives here, all their friends, families, their homes, their jobs, everything, this administration is hell-bent on separating families and punishing brown people at all cost. And now at least one member of this regime is seeing the consequences of mass deportations within their own families. I wonder what her nephew thinks of her now. I wonder if she even cares, to be quite honest.
Child, I don't know if y'all heard this shit, but Karoline Leavitt's relative has been picked up by ICE. Yes, sweetheart, ICE. Yes, Karoline Leavitt's nephew's mother has been picked up from ICE. Come to find out, she's overstayed her welcome by 26 years. And she also has charges for assault and battery on her. Now, Karoline Leavitt's brother and Karoline Leavitt's son's mother are no longer together. I think her name is Ferreira. She is from Brazil. She is sitting right now in a Louisiana ICE detention center. And right now, Miss Karoline Leavitt has no comment. But I guarantee you, she's working in the background to try to get this woman out. And you know what? I hope she doesn't get out. You heard what I said. I hope she doesn't get out. That no lip having ass heifer sat on that goddamn podium and dehumanized every person that was picked up from ICE, even the ones that were going to court doing the process correctly. They still got picked up, and she still called them immigrants, illegals, dangerous individuals, terrorists, pedos. She called them every name in the book. What the fuck is your relative? I know she's in the Oval Office right now telling Wigs R Us, I will be billed for a night. Just get her out of there. Karoline Leavitt's brother said she's a good person. Nah, fuck that. She just like everybody else. Lock her ass up and ship her across the fucking way. Now, do y'all think she's getting out or do y'all think she's getting deported? Put it in the comments.
I know we're not supposed to be shocked by anything this administration does anymore, any of its goofy grifting, but there are sometimes you hear something and you're like, what the fuck? Okay. Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, her brother, Michael Leavitt, his baby mama, turns out she's a DACA recipient. Well, she's been in ICE custody in Louisiana for weeks. She was picked up in a mid-sized town in Massachusetts. She's here legally. ICE is contending that she's got a battery charge. She is contending through her lawyer that she is applying for permanent residency and she has no criminal charges at all. Okay, now listen, this White House does whatever it wants, whenever it feels like. And for 3 weeks, we had no idea that Karoline Leavitt's brother's baby mama had been picked up by ICE. And okay, if this White House wants to do something, it just does it. You think they couldn't pick up the phone call and be like, let her go?
she stays here? No. I'm not making any accusations. I think we can all draw our own conclusions here. But I think there's one thing we can all universally agree upon. Having your baby mama picked up by ICE is sadistic in a way that most of us are not just uncomfortable with, but we are sickened by.
Breaking news, ICE has detained a member of Karoline Leavitt's family. The loyal Trump press secretary that has been all in for ICE detainment and kidnapping people on the street now has it hit home. Her nephew's mother, Bruna Ferreira from Brazil, was taken by ICE. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said that she came to America on a tourist visa in 1999 and just stayed. Her attorney says that she was a DACA recipient, but she wasn't able to renew her status, but was going through a lawful immigration process in order to get U.S. citizenship. Her and the child's father are estranged, but she was arrested while driving to New Hampshire to go see her son. My opinion is that they set this lady up. She was going to see her son, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, ICE comes and detains her. That sounds like a phone call was made. I don't want this lady in my life anymore, sis. Do something about it. But I don't think the Party of Family Values would do something like that.
So the White House press secretary's kind of sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law, detained by ICE and is now in Louisiana. She's being called a criminal illegal alien from Brazil, and she overstayed her tourist visa from 1999. 1999? She shares an 11-year-old son with Leavitt's older brother, Michael. Karoline has no comment, but a source says that the women have not spoken in many years, and that her nephew lives full-time with her father since he was born, never even living with his mom. Ferreira, the child's mother, came to the U.S. with her family as a child and was once arrested on suspicion of battery, but no records of that arrest can be found anywhere. But her visa expired on June 6, 1999, and she now is a full grown-ass adult. The other side says that she's actually in the process of getting her green card and was abruptly detained and sent to Louisiana. Her attorney says that she has maintained her legal status through DACA, followed every requirement, and has always strived to do the right thing. Another day, another drama. Another day, another saga.
This is a lot. Karoline Leavitt's brother's baby mother has been detained by ICE. Let me say it another way. Karoline Leavitt's nephew's mama, has been detained by ICE. She's been alleged that she has a battery charge somewhere, and the lawyers are like, where's the charge? She came here under DACA legally in the process of trying to get a green card, and now Karoline Leavitt's nephew's mother is detained by ICE, again threatened to be deported, and Karoline now has no comment. She's been saying all this crazy stuff about this immigration policy all this time. And now that it's struck close to home, and her own nephew, her blood nephew through her brother, is like, where's my mom? And she has no comment. This is a mess. And I just need to stress again that the president is married to an immigrant. The vice president is married to a child of immigrants, a child of immigrants. And now Karoline Leavitt has a nephew who is also the product of immigration. These are the people fighting against immigration. It makes no sense.
Child, I did not expect to wake up this morning to yet another scandal. Well, let's get into it. Now, of course, y'all know this woman right here. But I bet you didn't know who the fuck that is, and who that little young lad is sitting in her lap. Well, that pretty young thing right there is Bruna Ferreira. I hope I got that name. You see, she had a little fling with Karoline's brother Mike, and they produced the seed. But that ain't the scandal, because we all know about the birds and the bees. The scandal is she is an illegal. Yeah, girl. Karoline Leavitt's nephew's mom is illegal, and she got swept up in one of the ICE raids. But I'm always a glass half full person, right? Maybe, just maybe, this will cause that little white devil up there to change her tune about the U.S. immigration policy, and maybe even whisper in 47's ear to make some changes or perpetuate the scandal even more, and Bruna end up becoming a U.S. citizen like Melania. Stay tuned.
Alright guys, there you have it. Actually, it's always sweet when these actually MAGA voters and MAGA supporters see other people getting affected by the orange man's policy, especially with ICE raids and mass deportations. But whenever it's one of their families actually getting deported or getting arrested by ICE and finally having to be affected by that, they don't like it. Yeah, Karoline Leavitt just got hit with instant karma there. Karma is a bee. You cannot actually do bad things to other people. You cannot wish other people bad things and expect that, you cannot wish bad on other people and expect that karma won't deal with you. Karma is a bee, and what goes around comes around. And this is exactly what is happening to Karoline Leavitt. And now she suddenly actually doesn't have any comment because reality is finally hitting her. Because now it's exactly one of her family members. And the problem is that all these MAGA politicians are actually married in one way or another to immigrants, whether directly or indirectly. They have families full of immigrants. The president himself is married to an immigrant. The vice president is married to the daughter of an immigrant. It goes on, the list goes on. And when it comes to the orange man himself, he's actually a descendant of an immigrant. And these guys, they like to enforce these powers that they have and jurisdictions that they have in the name of actually making America safe, in the name of making America great again and putting Americans first. But what happens when actually one of your family members gets arrested by ICE? I can already feel like she's gonna pull some strings, of course, to actually get her out of jail, out of ICE custody, because she has the power. She's closer to the orange man, and I know she only has to ask. But what about those families actually who do not have connection with the White House? What about those families who don't have actually anybody in power who can actually help them? The many families who have been separated because of these ICE raids, because of these mass deportations, who cannot even defend themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like the country doesn't have a right to actually protect themselves from illegals. They do have a right to protect themselves from illegals, especially criminals. But the thing is, they actually say they were going to go after criminals, but they are not going after criminals. They're going after hardworking people who are actually contributing to the economy and helping the country. A lot of people have been affected because of these deportations, because of these ICE raids. We all know what has happened with, MAGA farmers actually being in labor shortage because of these construction workers being in labor shortage. We know a lot of industries that actually have collapsed because they do not have that cheap labor anymore. Because now the very people who actually were doing these jobs that Americans cannot do, these blue-collar jobs, and earning below minimum wage, are nowhere to be found. They're either afraid of ICE raids or they have long been deported. So this is exactly what has been happening. And it's funny that it's now happening to one of the very members of the White House who has been vocal, about these harsh treatment that people have been facing, especially these people that they're calling illegals. But yeah, what do we call one of your family members? Is she also an illegal? Are you going to allow her to be deported just like other people get deported, or are you going to pull some strings and actually get her out of custody and protect her? Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think about today's episode? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that like button. See you on the next episode.